Yo, what's up YouTube, it's Sully, and today I'm going to be showing you a high round strategy guide on the new map Numa on Vanguard Zombies. So to get straight into it, the loadout that you're going to want to run before you go into a game must have Ether Shroud on it. This is going to be essential for this strategy. Now the loadout weapon doesn't really matter all that much, but I'd recommend using the Iron Horn since it's just the best loadout weapon in the game. I'll quickly flash my attachments on the screen now if you want to see them. What I'd recommend that you do with this is just pack a punch it once and just use it to help carry you through the setup up until the point where you're ready to get a ray gun. The next weapon that you're going to want for this strategy is going to be the Wonder Waff. You can do this by crafting it. I'd recommend doing this just to save your points. And then finally, just like I mentioned earlier, you're going to want to get yourself a ray gun. I'd only recommend hitting the box for the ray gun once you've fully got set up, so by upgrading all your perks and fully upgrading your Wonder Waff. This just helps avoid the situation where you've poured all your points in the box, you haven't upgraded your perks, and then you just die for some stupid reason. And then finally, the last part of the setup is just getting the right coverings. So these are the ones I like to use. I like to use the Splatterfest and the Unholy Ground to help increase my ray gun damage output throughout the strategy. And also the Ammo Gremlins is like the best one in the game. It makes it so you never really have to reload. So now I'm going to move on to the early round strategy. I'm only really going to include this because at this point in the game not everyone's going to have the ray gun yet. Some people are going to get screwed over with the box look. So if you're in a situation where you don't really have a ray gun, don't worry, you can do this strategy quite easily with a Wonder Waff alone. So what I'd recommend doing is just get your Wonder Waff, come in the comm room, turn the trap on whenever it's ready. I'd only really do this past round 30. Up until round 30 you can just hold your own and just help build your points up even more by not putting the trap on. And then once you have like 4 or 5 zombies in the room with you, start shooting them with your Wonder Waff. You don't really have to worry about preserving your ammo that much because the zombies drop so much ammo. And obviously it's still pretty early in the game, so the rounds are going to end pretty fast too. I'd also recommend when you're trying to get the zombies grouped up a little bit behind you, utilise both the rooms. When you just try and stay in one room, I noticed a lot of zombies, they'll just keep getting the odd hit on you, and before you know it you've run out of all your armour. So utilise both the rooms, make sure that you use that double sprint. Whenever you double sprint, the zombies seem to just not hit you half the time. I'll run through like 2-3 zombies right in between them and they just won't hit as if I'm double sprinting. It probably has something to do with stamina up tier 4 as well. Them two combined is really overpowered. So now I'm going to move on to the high round strategy. Now throughout this strategy I'm going to be utilising this corner a lot, so I'm going to show you the configuration of how I like to sit in it. So I like to go in the back right corner of where the mystery box is, and then if you line your crosshairs out with how I just did right there, there's a wooden plank on the far end of the corner. It's the furthest one. Just put your crosshairs on the right hand side of that, and if you shoot that, it'll kill all the zombies before they even get to touch you. So ideally when you're doing this strategy, you're going to want to turn on the trap at the start of the round. Of course you're not always going to be able to do this, but when I do, I like to shoot a Wonder Waff shot first. This just makes it so that all the zombies outside the hut gets a little bit extra time just to come closer towards the trap, increasing the efficiency a little bit. And then at that point just pull your ray gun out, go to the corner, line your crosshairs up with how I was showing you before, and you can just hold your trigger down all the way until you have to turn the trap back on. There's not a whole lot you have to do when you have the ray gun out. Obviously make sure you're not getting attacked by the bosses. If you're ever in a bad situation, you should have 2 ether shrouds that you can pop. I like to use decoys as well. They're better than monkeys because the faster to throw, you can shoot whilst you're throwing them, and also they last longer as well. The lethal grenades, I like to use thermites just because every now and then when you get an insta-kill, they're pretty rare when you get them, but when you do get them, you can just throw these down and it acts like a Molotov, apart from the fact that you can hold 5 of these. You can only hold 3 Molotovs, so it's just better in that sense. Now as you can see, the trap's ready to be turned on, so I'm going to pop an ether shroud. You don't have to pop an ether shroud to turn the trap on, you can just clear the way with a Wonder Waff. But you charge up your ether shroud so quickly to the point where why risk it. So I pop an ether shroud, turn the trap on, and then just head back to the corner. Now that's going to be it for the normal rounds. Obviously I'm going to show you how to handle both the bosses as well. I'm going to quickly talk about juggling decoys or any other grenades for that matter. So as you can see, I've got 3 decoys, it's the max I can hold, and I've also got decoys right in front of us. I'm going to make sure that I never lose them decoys. They're always going to be spare on the ground. That way, if I'm ever in a bad situation, I have to throw 1 or 2 decoys, I can always get back up to 3. So how you do this is by, let's say you have another tactical grenade, there's a monkey bomb right there. I'm going to pick up the monkey bomb, drop my 3 decoys, and then pick up the spare decoy. That's going to reset the timer on it, so it's not going to disappear. I can then re-pick up my original 3 decoys, and that one decoy will be able to stay on the ground for another 5 minutes, I think the timer is. It's something like that. But yeah, I just do this at the end of every round, and usually that spare decoy that I have on the ground is usually a stack of 3, so although I only have 3 decoys, I've technically got 6, because every time I come back to this corner, I've got another 3 on the ground right there. It's really useful. Alright, so now I'm going to show you a neat little trick on how to kill Zebella without her actually going underground throughout the damage phases. So first of all, you just want to kill the first damage phase as usual. And then secondly, once she's about to go underground, you want to pop Ether Shroud, that way she doesn't go underground because she doesn't see you, because you're shrouded. And then just shoot her again. There's going to be like a 3-second delay for the immunity, and shoot her for the final time, and it's going to kill her pretty quickly. As you can see, that Zebella was full health when I first started the clip, and now she's already dead and I'm back to doing the strategy. So you can do this quick enough to the point where by the time your Ether Shroud ends, you've already killed 2 of her damage phases. Now unfortunately I didn't figure that out until right at the end of the game I was playing, so that's the only clip I had of me doing that. However, I'm going to show you how I was killing Zebella previously. It's just as easy, if not easier this way, it's just a little bit more time consuming. So I was popping Ether Shroud, getting rid of the first damage phases, and then at that point I'd throw a decoy, and sometimes, a lot of the time actually when you only had one Zebella, you could just finish her off throughout the whole decoy process. However, on this occasion I was only able to get rid of a second damage phase, so with one more damage phase left, you could just throw another decoy if you have a lot of spare ones, play it safe. Or because the trap's just been freshly put on for me, I just decided I'm just going to run around the cabin and then just shoot her whenever I see her. Now that I've just killed the second one, I'm going to show you how to deal with the gunner zombies. So these are very easy to kill. I'm pretty sure if you have Unholy Ground and you pull out Wonderwaff, you can just kill them in one shot, I think. So you can see I just pop Ether Shroud and shoot him once and he's dead. Gonna move on to another one now. Sometimes they do this thing where they just tank a second shot and it does no damage to them. So I have to shoot this guy 3 times, but again, just no problem when you're shooting with a Wonderwaff. And finally, the last thing I'm going to show you is how I like to do the bonus rounds. So throughout the majority of the game I was playing, I was doing the bonus rounds in the comm room. So I was leaving the comm room to shoot a boom striker, then a boom striker was going to spawn back in the comm room. So I was just going back and forth all the time. I just realised if you do this, if you come to the left cabin outside the comm room, pretty much every boom striker just spawns within your line of sight, so it's just a lot easier to do it this way. And anyway, that's going to be it from me, so if this video helped you out, be sure to leave a like. If you're new, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.